Hello folks and welcome to my newest series, Let's Lose Dwarf Fortress. That's right, I haven't played Dwarf Fortress in over 365 days according to my computer, and I realized that I really wanted to get back into this game, and I talked to some folks and they were like, oh yeah Dave, I'd totally love to see you, do some Dwarf Fortress, and I think that they're crazy, personally, but we could take a look and see if we can play some Dwarf Fortress. So what I've done is generate a world in Dwarf Fortress, and for those of you who don't know, it's this amazing game by Bay 12 Games where you get 7 dwarfs and you set out in the wilderness and you just basically try and cause as much mayhem as possible. It's really cool, it's really awesome, and it basically is just the hardest game imaginable, really. I mean, there's no playing around with this game anyways. So I have kind of embarked at a random spot that looked like it was good, and I have sort of been looking around for some guides in the game, but I deliberately didn't really get myself back up to speed, right? I deliberately sort of made sure that I was not in great shape to play this game, because I fully expect that we are going to die horribly and hopefully amusingly in the first few rounds of this. So let's take a look. This is a route where our dwarves are hiding. So for those of you who don't know, we're looking at trees. I'm using the Mac Newbie pack, so things are a little bit more intelligible. We're looking at trees, rock, red rock in the background there, and sort of the whole game is sort of text driven, so you kind of play it with your keyboard and not with your mouse. It's probably not for everybody, but it is also a really, really cool game, and there's just a lot of crazy things they build in. And it looks like we have a ton of interesting stuff. Ah, yes. The key K describes things. Okay, so we've got limonite. Oh, gosh, so many metals and stuff. Pretty sure that's good stuff, though. Limonite, as I recall, is good stuff to mine. Siltstone, lignite, which is coal. We're lucky. That's perfect. So we're probably going to go up here. So this is, if I go down a little bit, you can see my dwarves. And then if we go up a little bit, here's this nice wall, this nice rich vein. So you can see they're just below in this little valley. So I think we're paused right now. I think what we're going to do is not necessarily locate ourselves right down here, which is actually, it's neat, it's a nice area, and we'll probably cut down trees and stuff. But we're probably going to come up here. And I think that if we're careful, we can make this a little bit more defensible, because there are goblins nearby, in fact. And I set the world to be a little bit crazier. There's a lot more civilizations and a lot more metal. And apparently this drives everybody absolutely crazy. So, before we unpause, generally, it's a good idea to kind of survey the surroundings and give orders to your dwarves, right? Kind of just like, hey, here's the thing. So I'm just kind of scoping around at this Y level. You can see a nice little pond here, the little 7s there that indicate how much water is in there. And I'm kind of doing this in a semi-tutorial style, but I actually am not great at it. So here's the deal. If you have a question, ask me. I'll try and answer it. If you see me ask a question and you know the answer, please answer it. And we'll see what we can do here. Because what I would love to do is build just a huge dwarven fortress here. And I've always wanted to build a giant statue of a dwarf in Dwarf Fortress. Now, you can't see it because you can only see one Y level at a time. But I still think it would be a fun project. And I've also always wanted to build just like a terrifying goblin-killing fortress, right? Like teeming with dwarves underground, and just like, not like Moria or anything like that, but just like its own thing. So yeah, I think that what we'll do is we'll start by mining. So I do DD, right? Let's take a look. It looks like right here, this coal seam would be a promising place. See where my cursor is? Yes. So let's just go ahead and mine in here, right? And this will be our nice initial little burrow. We got to strike the earth and make sure to have some good situations for ourselves, some good fortuitous mining, and we got to get food secured, because winter will come. Winter, it's a bastard. It's always coming, right? And we do need to take care of that. So what I'm going to do is kind of lay out some things. And actually, what I want to do, one thing I've learned from playing, is that what you do is you scope out all your rooms, right? But if you want to complete them in an order that makes sense and not just have the dwarves go totally crazy, then what you actually need to do is kind of do the rooms but not connect them. So here we'll have a nice stockpile room and 2 stockpile rooms, a common room. And then I think what we'll probably do is do some indoor farming right off of here. Yeah, we'll probably be able to figure this out. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do the indoor farming. We may have to be creative. So, but dwarves can do indoor farming, and it does work. We'll see what the earth is like in here. But yeah, that's to get started. And then what we'd also like to do is we'd like to designate a place to chop down trees. Now this little, oh, sorry, this little valley down here looks like it's full of trees, right? And we're dwarves, we're industrious. We're going to completely chop this all down. So let's just go like this, right? This entire valley, fair game. Similarly, we'd like to gather basically this entire valley, just have kind of a continuous order to strip it of every useful plant, right? So whoa, maybe I made it a little bit too big. Let's also go like this. There we go. So now we've got, as you can see, all these things are highlighted. That should be a good start. That's generally how I start things, right? So now I'm just gonna, there's more I could do, but I'm just gonna unpause for a second. You'll immediately see the dwarves, at least some of them, spring into action. So let's watch them go. Woohoo, look at there, one goes up, our miner, and he immediately begins to mine. Now, I did not prepare with an awesome dwarf. So, or awesome dwarf team. So this guy's actually only an adept miner. That's kind of low on the overall skill scale. So he's not great. So you can see he's mining along, and we've got other dwarves going off, and they're just felling trees. As you can see right over here, they are, you know, busy doing awesome stuff and cutting down trees. So now we're going to have a bunch of wood, right? I'm going to pause. Well, the next thing I'd like to do is to start laying out the all the wood that we cut somewhere that we can actually use it, because we don't just want to have it laid all across the valley. So I think what we can do is set up a stockpile. Let's see. Yes, that's right. A stockpile for specific things. In this case, wood is a nice preset. So let's go ahead and... Can I do this with my mouse? No, I can't in this build. Unfortunately, the Mac Newbie version doesn't let it. So we'll do that. We'll have a nice stockpile of wood. And while we're at it, what we'd like to do is build a workshop just for wood-related things, because we're going to have to get in here. We're going to have to start cutting up wood. It's super important. And so what we'd like to do is get a carpenter's workshop, which is C. Now, a carpenter's workshop, we're just going to set it up outdoors. It's not going to be the nicest, fanciest thing, but we're going to put it right next to our wood stockpile. And this is where we're going to start kind of laying out all the stuff that we need to furnish our dwarven home. Because you do need wood. We're not all stone. Eventually, we'll be all stone. All right. So that's a good start for now. Let's just make one other stockpile for, you know, let's go ahead and put food. Let's put all our food right over here, and all of the stuff that we find there. And then finally, what we'd like to do is set up a zone here. So if any of this seems confusing, it's a little confusing to me too. I'm kind of playing off memory, because I used to be okay at this game. That's right. So we want to set this up as a pasture. We want all our animals to be set. So at least all of our, let's see. What's the key for this? Oh boy. Oh, yes. Plus and equal, plus minus. So we want to actually set the horse and the water buffalo to a pasture by the mouth of our cave, so that they won't starve. They need to be assigned here so that they have, you know, stuff. We definitely don't want to lose these guys. Although we'll probably kill that water buffalo. Just saying, very tasty. Water buffalo are delicious. Right. I think that's enough for now. So let's go ahead and let these guys get started, because there's a lot to do now. And if you look in the upper right, you'll see that there probably won't be many idlers, because there's a lot of hauling tasks, and pretty much everyone can get hauling. So now you can see our water buffalo and our horse have been sort of set up right over there. And we're bringing up all our food and laying it out here. Maybe we need to make it bigger, right? Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at this. We use actually this. Let's see. So as you can see, we're just digging along. This guy's just tearing along. I don't actually see a ton of coal here. Got some siltstone, some lignite. Looks like it was a pretty small seam. I wonder if it was maybe bigger beneath. Maybe we'll have to do that. Okay, but fortunately, we're still digging along. And this is a pretty good starting spot. You know, it's not too bad. Let's designate to chop down some more of these trees. Just on the upper level here. And let's also gather some plants up here, because why not, right? These plants are here, they're useful. And yeah, let's keep going. So as you can see, our little dwarf here is doing his job. So our first goal is to set up just an environment where we can successfully, you know, what we want to do is get to the point where we can successfully just kind of weather the night. Is that more coal over there? Ooh, this is more lignite. Yes, it is. Okay. We'll definitely have to bend our little passage around over that way. But we want to get to the point where we are successfully capable of weathering a winter, because it's very, very easy to starve in this game. right? And we definitely don't want that. All right, so our little dwarf here has sort of gone through the first main setup, and now we're still chopping things down and hauling things. And it looks like everybody's just kind of chilling down here with not a lot of work to do. So that's probably not okay. So I'm going to introduce the next tool in our setup here. Let me just give me a sec here. And Dwarf Fortress. So we're paused now. Or this is Dwarf Therapist, a secondary thing that's sort of going to help us manage our dwarves, because the actual in-game interface can be a little bit difficult. So this is basically a matrix of all the jobs dwarves could possibly do, and it is pretty intimidating, so I don't blame you. I'm a little scared by it too. But it's useful for us in this case, because what we want to do is make sure that we've got at least one person on carpentry. All right, okay, so it looks like we do, and he's also crossbow making, and he's not our woodcutter. So I wonder what we're all waiting for here. Let's take a look. What are we all doing? Currently, we are not doing anything. So let's go ahead and take a look at, yes, the good old wrong button problem. Anyways, Q is the button I wanted, which will point me to adding tasks. So the first thing we really want to do is get ourselves some beds, right? Because we need beds. We need beds to sleep. That's like one of the first things we need. So there's 7 of us. But we're not going to all be sleeping at the same time. We're dwarves. We do it for the good of all. So let's go ahead and make some beds. But let's just make 5 so that most of us can be sleeping. But we will want to have some people on guard at any point in time. Right. That should be a pretty good thing to start doing. So we're going to have a carpenter start working there. We got someone else with architecture. We really don't have much in the way of idlers at this point, which is great. And we're starting to seriously dig out, and it looks like we found some interesting stuff on the floor here. Let's see what we got. Got some gypsum. I don't know if that's valuable or not. I'll have to check. Some jasper. So, ooh, we got some kind of common stuff. Limonite, which I think is actually like an iron alloy. For some reason, I want to say that I remember that being an iron alloy, which is great because we've already got limonite, we've already got steel. Our industry can begin. So we're probably going to want some indoor workshops soon. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? Let's make sure that we have our common area and our storage area and then a farming area going before we get too crazy. So I'm thinking this area right here, where my cursor and my mouse pointer are, will be our common area. And this is going to be a nice big place where we can all sit down, eat. We'll have some tables. You'll see what we do in just a sec. We'll make that the goal of today's episode. So let's make sure that everybody's doing some work. Looks like, what are we waiting on here? Probably everybody's just doing a little bit of stuff. Do we have any? Yeah, there we go. We can see a little carpenter doing his job here. Moldoth Otilonil. Maybe you have to change his name. Some people who do Let's Plays like to have their character or have friends named in the dwarves. Like the dwarves named after friends, which I think is cute. I'm not sure if I want to do it though. So, so you can see, by the way, the dwarves are kind of hanging out here and they're doing their thing. As soon as they're ready, like, you know, they're getting drinks and things like that. As soon as they're ready to get back to work, they will. So they kind of take their own breaks, right? Let's also make a stockpile, right? Let's make a stockpile for, let's see, I think we can do finished goods and furniture storage. Furniture storage is what we want. So let's go ahead and put that right here, and we can finish all these beds and thrones and tables and all these other things that we will need just to kind of have a basic life. Ooh, there we go. As you can see, we're tossing down all the stuff. Ooh, anvils too. So hopefully our miner here will do us a solid and quickly burn through this. In fact, let's just get rid of this designation so that he doesn't, you know, get it in his head, his little dwarf head. There we go. There's no more door. So he's going to finish this room in its entirety. And then we're going to go about placing the beds. In the meantime, we may also want to look at building perhaps not just a carpenter's, but we'd also like to have perhaps a mason's shop or a craft dwarf shop. You know, these sorts of things are useful. You know, let's get to it in a sec. We're good for now, I think. What we do want to find, oh, no, not quite what I wanted. We do want to find is dirt floors, gypsum cavern. Hopefully it won't be solid rock, because if we have to plant things outside, it won't be as good. Dwarves thrive on indoor foods. So there are ways that we can sort of fill up an area. Like we may have to make our farm over here. And then if we just open up the water and let it drain in, it'll deposit a nice layer of gross, rich, fecund soil that will make sure that we have all the tillable earth we need indoors. But I'd rather not have it all the way over there. It looks interesting. It looks like that coal seam goes all the way through the wall here, doesn't it? It looks like it goes like here. Yeah, I think so. That must be it. I wonder, do we see it above? And we can't see it below, but surely. Ooh, what's that? That's Jaspers. Oh, it's just like. So this is pretty exciting in terms of finding all these minerals and stuff, right? I mean, it's not quite Minecraft, but it's good stuff. Okay, so it looks like we have that room all cleared out. So now let's build our beds. We just want to have a little area here where we can place our beds. And dwarves like to have a little bit of privacy in their beds, but we don't need to do too much. Got some oak wood, some maple wood, so there we go. And now let's think about, looks like everybody's moving beds, right? Cool. Let's think about perhaps building, I guess what we need next, we have some beds. And we can designate this area a dormitory. So let's go ahead and do that. We do that by going K. We have a bed. I think what we do is, yeah, that's right. We go like this. We make this a bedroom, make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And we assign it as a, I guess, a dormitory? Yes. And this is the Founder's Den. Whoa! Oh no. Let's see, can we do this? Oh gosh, they never fix this. Well, that is a bit of garbage. Thank you. I'm sure that there's a way to fix that. I'll have to check it online. Okay, so we also need a place to, let's go ahead and make a little room here. And let's connect these two rooms. So now we can be a little bit more, permissive in letting our miners go to town. So I think this will be an area where we keep all of our stuff. We're just going to move all our stuff deep into the cavern, maybe protect it with a couple of traps, other dwarfy things, and some doors. But this is the primary room. So to that end, what we'd like to do next is just build a bunch of, we'd like some chairs, let's say 4 chairs, and we'd also like to get a table if we could, right? Yes, some tables. 3, 4. There we go. We'll get some nice tables, and that's where our dwarves can kind of eat. And we'll have this be like our main meeting and congregation area. Sure, there's rough ore on the floor, but we're not savages, right? Let's see how we're doing on actually felling the trees and gathering the plants. We actually are really doing a great job of tearing down these trees. Our woodcutters are a little bit disturbing, actually. They're pretty good at this stuff. All right, and then we'll gather some more plants, because who knows what sort of important food we'll find. Fortunately, most of our dwarves, I read through their psychological profiles, because yes, we have dwarven psychological profiles. Most of them seem pretty well versed in dealing with the rigors of the road. They're all pretty psychologically stable people, which should be good for us. Although I got to tell you, I do wish that we had brought the game had randomly generated me a better miner, because this guy's painfully slow compared to a master dwarf who can just tear through the wall. Oh, it's painfully slow. Okay, so we've got some tables coming out. We can actually build some of these chairs. Let's go ahead. Dwarves like to have a little bit of room while they eat. I think they're a bit noisy, Got at least 1 chair, and do we have a table? We don't have a table yet. We're still working on these chairs. But as you can see, our first table goes in. We'll put that off to the side, and we'll make a little actual dining hall there. And then once we have all of these stock rooms tunneled out, we can start to move our stuff into the actual tunnel. Because the last thing we want to do is end up with all our stuff out, and a goblin raid comes in, and what do? We go hide in our tunnel, and our wagon out here, this is our trusty wagon here, right? Just full of stuff. Let's see, we view items in buildings. This is like everything, right? Look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff. Got, oh man, all of our rope. We got a copper battle axe. We got another copper pick. Oh, we have another copper pick, huh? What that means is that we should probably find whoever's not busy right now in Dwarf Therapist. Let's see, Dwarf Therapist. Let's find who's not working right now. Let's go ahead and scan the memory. Oh, no, 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 no. We want to refresh this. Read the dwarves. Okay. Got one person. This Tekid is a masonry and stone. Well, you're also now a miner, my friend. Let's go ahead and commit those changes. You're going to go grab your pick and you're going to get to it. Because we don't have time to wait, right? Winter is coming. Winter is always coming. And what we'd like to do is get to the point where we can break down all of these things. Now, our cats have been running around kind of, ugh. Our cats have been, ugh, they've been leaving all these dead rats. See these little purple things here? Rat remains, rat remains. We brought cats, and cats are great, but you do need to be careful about them because, for one, they breed really fast if you let them, and that can actually just cause a bunch of problems. Oh, look at now we have 2 miners, and even though one's very slow, you can see one's very slow. He'll learn quick, right? They're dwarves. It comes naturally for them. And yeah, hopefully we'll have this nice little setup. What we'd also like to do is remove these ramps around here so that we can actually make a nice defensible wall. So those ramps, these ramps, all these ramps should go away. So now we have 2 miners on the job. We should be able to do that no problem. And that'll mean that there's a nice drop and no one can just walk down, because I think we're going to build a nice wall, enclose this, build a gate, and maybe see if we can set up some fiendish dwarven traps. Ah, there are our dwarves going off to work. Ah, it looks like a few more of our tables are ready. So let's go ahead and place another one of these tables right here. Let's place another table right here. Another table right here. And then we'd like to build a chair right. Let's actually do the chairs over here. And then a chair right here. And then a chair right here. And then we'll need one more chair. We're almost done. All right. So now we should get some dwarves hauling in all those chairs. Right? As you can see, in fact, already the table's there, and one of the dwarves, I'll pause right there so you can see the little miner there. He already had gone over and used the table just as a place to eat, right? I mean, like the simple joys of eating at a table and not just at your hands squatting over everything you own, right? No good. And wow, we really made a dent in all the trees here. Let's gather some of these plants too. Looks like I missed a few in my initial sweep. But yeah, we should get rid of these plants too. Anything that's worthwhile, guys. We're going to strip this landscape bare. It's going to be terrifying. It's going to be sad. It's going to be the end of an era, right? Yeah. End of an era. Oh, and we've got a dwarf using our dormitory. So our dwarves get to sleep in beds. Now, dwarves are pretty resilient and hardy creatures. But they do have problems with, you know, they can only be pushed so far. They're still mortals. They're not infinite. They're not crazy. They just need some time. So if you give them lots of opportunities to sleep and enjoy things and look at statues and other dwarfy things that dwarves love, then they're generally a lot better off than if you just have them lying, like working nonstop out in the rain, you know, living in a freaking terrible place, having people eat right by where they sleep. It's better. It's better. So that's what we're going to do here. So let's, by the way, we got one more chair to build. It looks like the guy who's building it is asleep. That's fine. You guys have earned your rest. And we're slowly building out all of this. So let's designate or let's make a new stockpile. And we'll make this stockpile a custom stockpile. Yeah. We'll go ahead and make this a custom stockpile. And this is the room where we'll keep most of our valuable stuff. So let's make the custom stockpile settings. We're not going to keep any food in here, but we're not going to keep any furniture. But we are going to keep ammo, coins, bars, blocks, gems, finished goods, and weapons and armor in here, right? So this is sort of like where, well, we'll do cloth, no, but definitely not wood. That will be where we keep all the stuff. So let's go ahead and, right, so there's our options. Let's just re-designate that, just to make sure that we got exactly what we wanted. Okay, and now we're going to do another custom setting down here. We're going to disable. Basically, just disable everything that we said we were going to do, right? And now we're gonna enable food, furniture, you know, leather, cloth, wood, things like that. And we'll put that right here. That'll be fine for now. So let's go ahead and Yeah, C. So there we go. Now, when we unpause, we'll find our dwarves all quite busy hauling stuff over there. And let's get back over. So this is lying fallow now. So let's go ahead and next thing we'd like to do is make sure we've got some nice wooden doors. Yeah, we need some doors because let's face it, we're not animals. So that should be some double doors, and we'll have some, yeah, some double doors, and we'll have, I guess, all our dwarves are asleep right now. All the dwarves who can do things. And look at how slow this miner is. Oh my god, come on, keep at it. But now the dwarves that are awake are going to start dragging things into these stockpiles. Basically just to kind of, get everything tidy and moved out. And yeah, we don't want to have all these dwarves, all our stuff out in a wagon down at the foot of the thing. So we're also going to remove this wagon. Yep. So now the wagon's going to be torn down, strapped for parts, and probably go to making some of these doors. Now, let's go ahead and make this area a dining room, right? Let's make it a little bit smaller, well, a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's our dining room. And that's just our meeting hall as well as free tables. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Hooray. So now we have a common room for our dwarves. And it would behoove us to haul all of these things out. So why don't we go ahead and make, well, we're doing well. We could build a door. No, we're not. Looks like our people, there's no doors already yet. And we're still waiting on a chair even, huh? As you can see, our little miner out there is busy getting rid of all those ramps. So now we have a nice defensible area out front. Nothing can come in to us from above. Yeah, it's looking good already. Look, it's getting dwarfier and dwarfier by the minute. As you can see, we're finishing up the second stockpile room. Done. Perfect. Perfect. So let's re-designate that stockpile with our custom stockpile. Let's just make sure that we got everything we need here. Okay. We're doing good. We're doing good. Still. We're going to need to figure out a solution for food. Temporary solution. And I think we'll just have to kind of accept the fact that we're going to be farming outdoors. So I think if we designate... well, let's see. We want to set up a zone. Is it a zone? Oh, no. I think it's actually we build a farm plot. That's right, a P. So we can build some farm plots here. Let's just build them over here. Need soil or mud. And we can actually change the height of these. So there we go. We'll make a nice big farm plot there. And another nice big one. Dwarves are actually surprisingly good farmers. You wouldn't think it, but they are. Then we got 2 plots there. Hopefully we have some stuff we can use to plant outside. We've got some idlers. That's not promising. I wonder what they're doing. Let's take a look at the old dwarf therapist for a sec. We'll reread our dwarves. Looks like our miners are not doing any work, which is interesting. You'd think that they would have stuff to do. Probably not, because look at that. Actually, they finished all of our digging. That's cool. That's cool. So what should we have them dig next? Why don't we dig a nice big workshop area out here? This will be the area where our initial colony does all of their work. And as you can see, it's also going to be really big because we're going to try and... This is our actual first kind of decision to start, making a... Ooh, that didn't work out too well, did it? So let's... what we're going to do is also start mining a little bit. I think that some of this stuff will be great. But so this is kind of our first step at mining as well. Let's just get rid of this entire thing. There's no purpose for this wall. And go. So now our miners are going to be quite busy. As you can see, they're just tearing through it. They're learning their trade quickly. Right. Hopefully we'll have someone who's capable of farming. Do we have anybody who's capable of farming? Let's see. Farming. Because we have a brewer. We have plant. We don't need a plant processing, but we actually have a farmer. So hopefully that person who is... Oh, look. They're the woodcutter as well. That may be a bit of a problem for us. But you know, we're good on wood. So why don't we take a look at all these trees we designated? Let's remove the designation so that our woodcutter can get to doing other stuff. He can go back to cutting wood in a little bit, right? Because we actually have a fair sum of it right now, and I think we're doing good there. Let's go ahead and remove that. And a woodcutter's work is done as of basically right now. Yeah, I think that we got it all. Okay. All right. It's looking good so far. Yeah, I'm getting back into the swing of this. I remember playing so much of this game. All right, so we should have some doors now. So let's start by building a nice door here and another door here. Kind of a double door scenario, right? Similarly, our meeting hall should have a nice big door. And then I think we have two more, one for each of these. Virgin doors, and we need one more door. So now we've got our dwarves. They'll be installing our doors. Now these doors, they're not that secure. They're actually kind of, they're not great. But they are there, and they're helping us out, and they're making sure that we can at least we can lock the doors and at least keep some of the lower level bad guys out. So, you know, that should be a good start. All right, look at these guys go. Man, can you imagine how fast this must be to just like dig? What was that even like? Okay, so now we've got some actual plots here. Looks like they're waiting for construction. Needs farming fields. Looks like our woodcutter is still a little busy. All right. So let's go ahead and remove this other stockpile. So remove designation, and we'll get all this stuff put indoors. Similarly, we'll remove our food stockpile rules. Remove. Right. So now what we're going to do is just make sure that we're not storing stuff outside. Now that we have an indoor set up, there's really no reason not to. And this will also keep most of our dwarves busy. So let's go ahead and pause, take a look at our therapist, reread our dwarves. Do we have a farmer dwarf? What are they doing? They're hauling things? They're gathering plants. You know, that's probably a bad call for a farmer dwarf right now. So let's go ahead and turn off your plant gathering. There you go. Commit the pending changes and go. Trust me when I say that really... Oh, I've struck fire. Agate. I don't know. Oh, I'm so excited. This is such an interesting site. There's so much coal. Normally I gotta blow... I never get coal in my sites. It's kind of actually ridiculous. So one of the things you'll note is that we have this little anvil here. It's really important to always have one of those because you can't make an anvil without an anvil. Who even knows how the original doors sorted that out? I can't. That, you know, probably would be really awesome. Now, let's put in our last door. And resume. And are we ever going to get this guy to do his freaking harvest job? What are you doing? Fell tree. I don't want you felling trees. Okay, fine. You know what? You know what? Fine. You're off the job. You're fired. That should confuse him. He's like, but my entire life's purpose was felling trees. And now, what do I have left? Hauling? No, I don't think so. There we go. Now we got a door and everything. Life's a little bit more secure. And we're building out kind of a great crafting hall. And we're actually finding a fair amount of good materials as we go. So this should be fantastic. Let's build a masonry while we're at it. So the mason's workshop lets us work with stone. And obviously, as dwarves, this is pretty important to all of us. I think we can put it here. Yeah, that'll look good. And we'll make it out of, well, it looks like we have the most siltstone, so siltstone it is. And we could also build a still. Looks like we need to rehaul some things before we can continue that. Oh, it looks like they haven't quite finished. They just leave like random stuff, right? No problem, guys. Just go ahead and leave that that stuff randomly there. Here we all are getting drinks. And it looks like our water buffalo has been... They've been eating in this pasture, and they're just totally tearing down the local stuff. We may have to make a new pasture, because if you recall, originally these tiles were like, you know, green, and now they're kind of brown. So I hopefully we'll be able to make a bigger pasture. Okay, and I think that now, yeah, as you can see, all of our cool stuff here has been torn down, and we're gradually getting everything put away. All right. Well, with that, I think I'm going to call this an episode. I don't want to get too bogged down in all this stuff. But I really am curious what you guys think about this. And do you think that we should be continuing with it? Let's start making some barrels. Oh, no. What I want are boxes, right? Oh, gosh. Or chests. Chests sound great. I seem to recall that there were like boxes and barrels. So you can make like barrels and boxes and stuff. 3, 4. Let's make some barrels because we're going to start brewing. And bins, that's right. 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Bins let us store lots of stuff at once. So they're effective and useful. So no time like the present to get started on that. All right. Well, with that, folks, I think I'm going to call it an episode. I'm really curious if you are interested in seeing more of this. If you are, please let me know, and I will almost certainly continue with it. If not, if this is not the sort of thing you see, then also let me know. Either way, I'd sincerely appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, dislike if you don't want to see more of it. Sure, any feedback is good. And I hope that you'll join me next time when I make the decision. Oh, look, our farm's going up. Yay!